Dual Universe might be dead. Well, not really, but it's sort of going in a weird direction right now. Let's jump into it and I'll tell you more about this current situation. Hey everyone, my name's Captain Jack and welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute since we've spoken about Dual Universe. This is of course the ambitious single shard universe from Novaquark, which we were covering last year. I think this time last year we was hyping up and getting ready for the beta rollout. By August we was then sort of playing it, and as the year went on last year, it sort of went downhill a little bit. Updates were getting a bit sparse, a big update turned a lot of players off from the game. However, it seems now in the new year of 2021, things aren't exactly getting better and better for this ambitious Sci-Fi Sandbox MMO, whatever you want to attach to it. Now, one of the big changes which has happened recently is sort of the face of Dual Universe, which is JC or Jean-Christophe Ballie, or Ballie, however you want to pronounce his name. JC Ballie, he's sort of the guy you always see on the videos, giving you the update blogs, etc., and vlogs, etc. He's been seen with the game for about, this is like 2015, I think. I remember my first time checking out Dual Universe. I've had the pleasure of speaking to JC many times throughout, Dual Universe's sort of reign here online and getting ready for the beta, etc. Well, JC is now gone. He's been removed from running the day-to-day operations of Dual Universe and Novaquark, the development studio behind DU, and has apparently been removed as president as well, with somebody else now taking his steps. JC hasn't really been seen since. A little bit concerning. However, Novaquark have released press statements about this, addressing a website called MMORPG, about what's actually going on, and you can see things here. Basically, this was spotted by players a couple of weeks ago now. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Some legal documents which companies, particularly anywhere around the world, companies have to update legal documents to tell you who is the president, the CEO, the shareholders, and the directors, essentially. Here in the UK, we currently have a thing called Companies House. You can basically check who's the director of any company on there, any legal registered company, and you can also see who the shareholders are, and various things like that, and, taxes, etc., stuff like that. Novaquark was registered in France, I believe, and Montreal, I think. Anyway, these forms are updated, revealing a new president has actually taken over Dual Universe. Novaquark released a statement saying this. Nicholas is indeed the president of Novaquark France. The change happened a few days ago, I believe. It's mostly an administrative change. I'm not sure of the exact date because there are publication deadlines, brackets, legal ones, that I'm unaware of. The reason is outlined in the communication that we posted and related to the new position of JC. That's all. With JC's new role, someone else needed to take over that position. The role of a board member is fairly classic and is no different from that one of any other board members have in any other companies. As representatives of that shareholders, JC held the position of CEO and creative director for the game, and as such was involved on a day-to-day basis with the creative director about the game, and the management of the company. As a board member, and shareholder brackets, his role does not involve the daily management of the company anymore. Honestly, this is a fairly classic move for a startup company, one that happens regularly, as I'm sure you're aware. I'm going to be really honest, I've not really heard it happening that regularly myself in terms of business, particularly when JC is a creative director as well. I'm unclear whether he's still remaining as the sort of creative director for Dual Universe for the time being, however that remains to be seen. However, Nicholas Garantino is the current president of Novaquark, and since he's taken over, communication has improved. Clearly there's been some things behind the scenes here at Novaquark to reflect better on Dual Universe's updates. Because I'll be honest, and some of you have been playing it probably a lot more than me, the latest update, which is 0.24 I believe, was not exactly the best update for Dual Universe, and was rather a bit of a letdown, I think a lot of people feel, which is fair enough, that's how everything goes. So that was the update, Dual Universe update 0.24 I believe it was, which was, not too bad, but hey, it's had a few things. Personally, the update that turned me off towards Dual Universe was the Just update, which changed a lot of stuff. Hopefully things are going to improve since then. Which they are, hopefully. So, digest that information I've just told you down below in the comments. Is it a big thing that JC's gone? Not really. It's a bit of a shame. I like talking to JC, etc. Then again, new leadership can always bring a fresh perspective sometimes, which is really cool. I don't really know much about Nicholas Garantino. I've looked into his background. He appears to be related to some investment capital firms, which obviously put money into companies and stuff like that. So that is something to take into account. Okay, so since this has all came out, in the last 2 weeks, probably about an hour ago, Dual Universe have been releasing updates on what is the future of DU. This is basically commenting on community feedback and also discussing things they intend to do, particularly about the cost of doing business as well, and various stuff like that. I can also say the Dual Universe website is one of the most difficult ones to navigate ever, particularly if you can't zoom in or out. It's really annoying. Anyway, they've spoken about the cost of doing business, the impact on updates, and what more they've got in store as well. One thing I do want to read you is about the future of DU, and this is community comments, etc., and stuff like this. One big thing is the game going to launch in 2021? Well, dev team has said, realistically speaking, they'd have to do a lot in the time that's left, and that's probably not, really do. At some point, the current plan is in 2022, and they're targeting mid-year. I'm going to be honest, I don't see that happening. I'd happily be proven wrong, and I'm not being negative for the sake of being negative. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Now, speaking of roadmaps, one thing we all look forward to in video games these days is knowing what's coming down the line. You know, as much as we like surprises, we also like to know what we're getting. For Dual Universe, which is a big MMO and one you're paying a monthly subscription to, kind of helpful, I'd say. Well, the dev team said at the moment there's no plan to release an official roadmap with dates. They try to explain these in the free devlogs or dev blogs. I'll link those down below in the video description so you can read them for yourselves on why they're changing many things in the way they develop DU. Keep that in mind, the development behind Dual Universe is changing and how the developers actually approach tasks. One of these big things, if it's broken, they need to fix it and take time to fix it. Else you're going to know it was just a broken game, which isn't really fun for anyone to play. I think you can all agree. I wouldn't want to play a broken game. There are many bugs in DU, and hopefully they're going to get fixed soon. They are currently hiring new QA testers, and they're recruiting, so if any of you are interested in that, go and apply. We've also addressed why there's not more frequent update releases, etc. This is because DU is an extremely complex game to develop. Now, one big thing, and this is something I've criticized Novaquark from since day one, is on the communication. I strongly believe if you're paying a subscription for a game as part of an MMO, then communication really needs to be, you know, out there. You need to be addressing these issues and just talking about what's going on. And that way you keep your player base happy. You know, willingness to communicate and let people inside your development realm really helps a lot of devs. And we've seen that with big and small indie devs all around, even giant AA ones, or AAA, sorry. You know, communication really does help in the games industry, and it's something I really strive for in trying to get devs to understand this, and a lot of them do understand this. I believe DU now understands as well. The latest bits of communication that have come from Novaquark have been fantastic. I really have to give them that. These devlogs, which are sort of like outlined the future of DU, have been really, really convenient. They have said they basically would love to do like more frequency of communication. It just does depend on like game releases and what we've got planned, etc. They don't really want to be talking about stuff if there isn't anything to talk about. Simply, they want to ensure the information they give us isn't misleading, as earlier communication means the result may differ significantly once development is complete and the feature is released, which is something nice to do. Personally, I kind of think whether they should do a bit what Starbase is doing. That's also another upcoming space sci-fi MMO, not a subscription-based one. Take a look if you haven't. And that's where they're releasing weekly sort of updating game logs, etc. Although the game is still in development, they are releasing weekly change logs or progress logs, I believe it is. Yeah, progress notes, that's what it's called. And that's kind of really convenient. If DU could do something similar, that could be really cool. Even just behind the scenes pictures, it's communication and it keeps the player base informed. Something I think everyone could do. Now, we have spoken about the return of NQ employees, interviews, and AMAs, some more social media and video content, etc. They said they'd love to do this again at some point when they feel like the formats are better suited. I think, personally, right now, breaking away from this sort of answer and question thing right now, Dual Universe is very much in the repair mode, which is completely fine. You know, it's something I think the dev team need to do. Take a sit back, analyze what we've got, and think about how to best execute what's currently going on. They've spoken about the finances running the game, they've spoken about, communication, etc. And obviously if there's been some changes behind the scenes, such as staff, and, your big cheeses, aka your CEOs and presidents, etc., it makes sense you're going to have to reanalyze how things are doing. Because if someone new, such as a president, has come on board, they're going to have their own ways to run things, their own ways to do things. That means Novaquark need a little bit of time to adjust to these things, which is perfectly fine. I'm willing to wait for that. Now, they have currently discussed whether there's going to be a wipe. Obviously, a wipe would mean anything you've currently built or done inside Dual Universe will be wiped away. There has been ideas spoken behind. If you've made these fantastic cities or starships, you'll be able to get like a blueprint to basically put this back in sort of like a creative mode when it opens up again. So you're not going to lose these things you spent months, if not a better part of half a year, building just yet. Now, speaking about schematics, this is one of the big things I had a massive issue with Dual Universe. Personally, I liked how industrial stuff was, and, the fact everyone could make everything, etc., stuff like that. However, when schematics was introduced, it means you had to, really sort of, do specific things, which made it a bit difficult. It made, so you couldn't just whip up a base, in a month, really difficult. Now, I understand why they implemented schematics. They need to make sure people are using the market, etc., like that. But Dual Universe was originally sold the idea that you can build your empire, wage wars, etc., found civilization again. Well, if you're going to keep having to run into a shop, it's not really going to be about building your own empire, is it? I get that trade is an important part of that, and some people may see me just complaining about that. However, it's not really my cup of tea. Now, the honest answer here is the dev team have discussed that they don't know yet. They introduced schematics, it was a major disturbance in the force, in the economy of the game. They don't really want to rush into more changes after that, especially given it players and a lot of hard-earned quantity in buying them. Removing schematics is one of the options they are currently looking at, as well as changing their prices or adding more recipes. Reverting to the way it was before the introduction of schematics is also on the table. but you kind of want to do something with the current state of the industry and add back some fun that was taken away with 0.23, the update that kind of broke everything and turned a lot of players off. But you don't really know exactly how they're going to do that yet, so obviously it's more discussion, and I expect more community feedback as well is going to be really contributing towards that. So again, if you are currently playing Dual Universe, or you do want to come back to it, maybe like me, the 0.23 update turned you off towards the game, give them the community feedback. This is what they really need right now. Again, they have discussed the idea of a wipe, etc. No sort of priority on it just yet. They are sort of discussing a future of DU. The priority would be to migrate the impact for long-time players, etc., or mitigate the impacts. That's sort of being discussed, particularly performance, etc. No confirmation on that just yet. Sort of ending off this video, for myself, if you're thinking of getting to Dual Universe, I would say wait right now. This game was very ambitious when it came out. However, it seems to have tripped coming out of the beta gates, and let's be honest, I really still would be very ambitious listing Dual Universe as a beta. I'd say it's an open alpha myself at this point. I feel like beta was just put there to sell beta keys, etc., and get people playing the game. Maybe it's because they're running out of money. I don't know. It's one of those things you're not really ever going to know. But I strongly think that Dual Universe is not really a beta at this point in time. There's not really enough for people to do to qualify as a beta, if anything, full game. Am I sort of certain I'll go back to Dual Universe? Yes, I think I'll definitely go back to Dual Universe one day. It's a game I've followed for years now while I've been doing this whole YouTube shindig, and I would love to see it succeed, because I really think, you know, this could be a next big game like EVE Online, or like something like Star Citizen, if it ever released. But you get my point. I really wish Dual Universe would succeed, but if you want to get it right now, I'm going to say watch some videos, read some of the logs, really make a hard, firm decision whether you want to commit to a monthly subscription, etc., and stuff like that. I'll leave it up for you. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I did just want to come in today and talk about the future of Dual Universe, what's currently going on, as I know many of you have been asking me to talk about it for some time now. Well, there we go. Here's a little update on it. I'll also be back in the world soon, checking out what my community have done inside the game. I'm very lucky that Darius, who's sort of like my fleet admiral currently right now, and a handful excellent builders have been currently building some new RWI facilities in the Cyber Dual Universe world. So I think next week we'll go and check it out and show you what we've been doing there, and what's possible in DU when you actually have the time and willingness to commit to it as well. It is really fun. Alright everyone, I'm going to leave it here for today. Don't forget you can come and join us in Dual Universe if you so wish. I'll have a link in the video description below to my Discord. Do come along and check out the DU channel. And I'll be back very soon with more Dual Universe updates, seeing how the game's going, and going from there. I've been Jack, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.